What up, YouTube? I am your host, Mediocre tutorials and reviews, back in here with one more video. All right, guys, listen. You already know what time it is. It's time to get active. Have a video here today from my Instagram at Mediocre tutorials and reviews. Link down in the description box down below. Go and add your boy if you have content to send me across the internet. Would appreciate it. Difference between a grown man and a grown boy. Now, a couple things before we get started. I have not seen this video as of yet, so I want to give you guys an in-the-moment reaction to it. Second thing, when I look at a title of a video like this, the first thing that comes into my mind is, oh, this is going to be a pander fest, okay? Typically on media outlets dedicated towards women, they have this content letting them know the difference between a man and a boy, right? And oftentimes what I will see is everything that they described in that transition of maturing is how to treat and or serve women exclusively, right? It's not any of the things that we talk about in this channel on how you develop in your manhood or your masculinity. No, it's how to serve the watcher, right? So with that being said, maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised and maybe this is good information, but that's my initial thoughts. Without further ado,
what do you say to men who don't understand exactly what it means to be a man?
Well, it's very difficult. First of all, it's difficult to explain this to what you're probably referring to is what I refer to as grown males. There's a huge difference between being a grown male and being a man.
Somebody ought to shout it right there.
So
talk to us about that difference.
Okay,
yes.
so every man that you meet is a male, but not every male that you meet is a man.
Hello, somebody.
So your man, the man that you meet is about his conscious knowing that he has been sent here to be a servant leader. So you all come first. So whenever.
all right, let's assess it where it is right now. Again, guys, I'm going to try to stay as objective as what I possibly can. But just real quick, how damaging is it to consistently go on these platforms and just have these speakers, both male and female, just feed the audience pure delusion? Just pure and utter delusion. If you are an audience of this coming out and understanding the reality of the situation, you must be like, why are you not mad at them? Like, it's so weird to me that you get so many people that come into this sector of YouTube that get so mad at men speaking reality, men speaking facts. Why are you not mad at the delusions that they speak over there? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is. I think a large part of people who are unwilling to accept accountability within themselves, they get mad at that because they're just not ready to do that yet. But it is what it is. Second thing I wanted to comment on is that I'm probably going to cut out the very first portion of this video because he was just talking about nonsense between the co-hosts. Like, literally, I don't even know what they were talking about. Then she set up a particular question. And what he then did is he stumbled for a little bit into the definition of a man, and then he interjected what you're probably talking about is a grown male versus a grown man, and then starts going into this explanation of male versus man, which tells to me that, like, maybe he has literature or podcast where he talks about male versus men, because it seems like she asked a very specific question and he brought it to a male versus men thing. That's the second thing that I picked up on, or the third thing. The next thing that I picked up on is, again, we're getting down into this pandering servant leader. I'm kind of with you right there, but when you get into put a woman on a pedestal rhetoric and everything that he's about to go down in that path, like, my G, like these whole ideas have to stop. Like, to define the strength of a man and being able to put a woman on a pedestal, like a young 18-year-old boy is hearing these things, and then they get so wrapped up in themselves of their masculinity being defined at that age of what it is that they need to do in order to put a woman up on a pedestal to define who they are as a man. And a young 18-year-old woman is hearing, shit, I gotta bring shit to the table within this, because his duty is to make sure that I am that taken care of in XYZ ABC. These are, but you know, at the same time, maybe that's not the particular audience that comes in on this show, because these are middle-aged women. But even still, you're still feeding the delusions of grandeur. Let's keep going. Maybe he corrects himself.
So you all come first. So whenever you come in the room, you don't have to ask a man whether he is a man or not. He will show you who he is based on what he does. So a man comes in the room to say, sister, you need me to get that?
Right.
I got that. No, put that down. I got that. Grown male walks into the room looking to serve himself first.
So now that I heard the rest of what he's saying, and we're going to continue to go on in a second. So when he says servant leader, I think that there's a couple of different definitions of what a servant leader is, or at least how it can be interpreted. Is probably a better way to describe that. But he's saying it's a leader who serves. That's essentially, but he's saying a leader, to become a male to a man, you are a leader that serves women. That's what he's saying. Like, for real? For real. You know, and here's the thing. Here's how damaging the cycle can actually become, right? This is how damaging the cycle can become, because right now in the black community, we suffer at a 70% single mother rate. So there's 70%, which is at least 20% larger than the next race, right? So knowing that, and then knowing of these single mothers, there's going to be a large majority, right? A large proportion that's looking at content like this. So in their minds, and they're taking content like this and they're teaching young men you are not a man until you serve women. Like, why does no one else find a problem with this? Why? It's mind-boggling to me that no one finds an issue with this. So not only are you defining the component of the transition of being a boy to a man or a male to a man as specifically serving women, you are doing no due diligence to help teach women what actual traits in a man that she should be looking for to be a good match for him. You're not doing any of that stuff. This is no accountability zone. There's no accountability in this at all. And in that sense, I think it's doing way more damage than good. Because not to mention the young boys that are growing up under the tutelage of single mothers that believe this bullshit. But let's move on.
A grown male.
A grown male.
It's a
So
difference,
a
guys.
man looks to be of service. A grown male looks to be served.
Oh, my God.
Listen, you got. I'm almost about to walk out your steps.
I gotta leave. I don't know what else to do.
I need you to, no, seriously.
Yes.
This is the
And I
real
think
thing.
a lot of women are in relationships with grown males and in marriages with grown males. And
I feel like sometimes I just feel like it's so, in looking at the human population, we're really tribal people. So we want ideas and easy to understand ideas to latch onto. But it's like if you come in there with a cognitive bias, if you come in there with a bias specific to not taking accountability of yourself and looking towards other people as the issues, and someone proposes a simple and easy to understand idea that involves no critical thinking because of your biases, you are predisposed to select that and enter that information into your life and make it a part of your tradition and your custom. You're seeing it live in the flesh happening right now. Because notice how elated these ladies are in hearing this information. There's a lot of women that are in relationships with males, but not men. No accountability. No accountability. Sheesh. Let's move on.
then you end up getting divorced because you were in a marriage with a grown male.
Exactly.
And that divorce is initiated 70-ish% of the time by the woman.
not a man.
Exactly that. So here's what I want you to think of.
All right.
Think of yourself in a relationship, in a home, in a bed with a boy who is 15 years old, who just took over the body of a 35-year-old male. Mm-hmm. That's really what that equates to.
Yes.
Wow.
Go ahead. No. Come on.
Listen, let me also preface this in saying, I'm not saying that there's not a component of being a man that is well within being a servant leader. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is how damaging and delusional it is to assert that because a man is focusing in on himself, that by some way that makes him immature or that makes him 15 as opposed to 35, as this brother was just saying right here. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's very damaging to assert that only at the point that he's willing to sacrifice whatever it is that he has on the line, that the woman determines that he needs to sacrifice. He is not a man, and in fact, he is just a male. This is ridiculous.
Iyama Banzant said one time, which really resonated with me. She said that sometimes when people go through trauma, whatever age that they're at, they stay there if they don't heal from it. Yeah. So in that instance, a lot of our men are lacking this fatherhood that you were speaking of in the break.
That's right.
Could this be what is happening with our men, that they're never really healing from those wounds, from not having the man in their life, and they just carry on throughout life?
The irony, I'm sorry to keep on pausing it like this, but the irony is the wounds, a component of how those wounds develop is content like this. Don't you understand that?
Development was arrested at whatever that age was. So he stopped matriculating into manhood at that point.
Yes.
So let me give you an example. I actually cheated in my life in my early 20s because, and I'll never forget this, I actually cheated on, and I'm not going to say who that is to protect those that, right? So I actually didn't want to do that. And I was disappointed that I actually did. So I began examining why I did that. And I'll never forget this. I got to a point, my father was in and out of jail my entire life, right? So without having, my mother did a phenomenal job of introducing me to the principles of manhood.
We got it.
But actually walking out manhood is the job of a man.
Father was in and out of prison, single mother. All right, we're starting to uncover and unlock why he thinks this way. Let's keep going.
My mother can't teach me to be something she's not.
Right.
That's the misconception.
Right.
Your mother cannot teach you how to be a man because she's not a man. Let me give you an example. If you want to become a chef, my mother taught me how to cook. So I'm a man who knows how to cook, but it doesn't make me a chef.
Right.
If I want to be a chef, I got to get under the tutelage of a chef.
Yes.
Okay? So my father actually had me, and this was probably at the age of around 11. My father had me in the car and he said to me, I love your mother. And it made me feel so good because a child just wants to hear that his father loves his mother. But at the very next moment, he looked out the window and whistled to a sister across the street. The messaging that I got from that was, you can love a woman, but then be in lust with a bunch of others. So what that taught me was, this behavior is okay. If that's good for my father, then that's what I should be doing too.
So at what point did you say, I can't live my life like this? I can't be a cheater. I can't be a deceiver. I can't be someone who's going to betray someone's trust. At what point did that light bulb come on for you?
I'm going to tell you, the moment that it came on in parts. So when I got married, I said, okay, I gotta make sure that I am living my life out in integrity in that space. And then 2 years later, my daughter was born. And I said, ma'am, you are going to be held accountable not only by your wife, not only by God, but your daughter has been sent to you as a living, breathing example of exactly what you are supposed to put into this world.
I can't listen no more. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't listen no more. Guys, I can leave a link down in the description box down below. I'll leave a link down in the description box down below if you want to finish up the video and go investigate all the videos and, you know, do whatever you have to do. You know, it's just pure pander. It's pure pander. The idea that you are not whole until you get, because listen to what he said. He said that when he got married, all of a sudden now he had to focus in on his integrity. So he is within the idea and the mindset that you can't be your whole true form of yourself within your manhood and your masculinity until a woman enters into your life. And I tell you guys all the channel all the time, the basic things that you have to build up to put earth in your control. Focus in on your purpose. Focus in on your meaning in life. What is your why? What is your why in life? Your financial education, your due diligence, focusing on your body, making sure your body doesn't atrophy under the weight of gravity, making sure that your mental health is where it needs to be so you can pursue out in an optimal way your purpose, your passion, and your why in life. These are the key components that you should be focusing in on as you enter into 18-year-old and up, right? Adulthood. So that later in life, you can look back, be proud of the things that you've accomplished in the kingdom that you have built up. And then maybe you can lower down the drawbridge to let someone into your life. Honestly, the reason why I get so passionate in videos like this is because I see so often so many men that get tricked so early. And they lead these blue pill lifestyles where they're just checking off the boxes. Okay, well, you know, I just graduated from high school, check. I went off to college, check. All right, now I found a girl and she's okay. She's toxic as hell, but you know, she's okay. But you know, my manhood is not yet defined until I lock someone down and I get down on bended knee. And I just hope that she just keeps me. I just hope, I just don't understand why she wants me so much. It's just, and it's just all of this shit as to say is that you are not a prize as well, which I don't bang with as well. Listen, gents. On this channel, we try to give you the keys to focus in on being accountable for yourself, to build yourself up to the largest island that you possibly can, so that later on in life, you can open up the harbor for the boats to come in. You understand what I'm saying? Focus on yourself. Don't believe none of this bullshit that they tell you. Don't believe none of this bullshit. Build up your kingdom. You understand what I'm saying? That has been your video. That has been your reaction. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Feel free to hit me up. Feel free to go down into my Patreon down as well, where the energy is building up there. The network is growing up there. We over 400 strong up there at this current junction. I'll see you up there. Until next time, YouTube.